Well, welcome back to the Added Time podcast and part 2 of our conversation with former Everton and Arsenal striker Franny Jeffers. And we look back at his career. I mean, the manager's changed. You know, we know what happened with Howard, and the manager's changed. And then Walter comes in, and then you start to really, establish yourself in the team. And then Kevin Campbell comes in, and you get this great relationship with Kevin. And was Kevin the best partner you had as far as, certainly at Everton anyway?
Yeah. He was, weren't he? Obviously, Big Dunk was injured.
Yeah.
Bakayoko still around early on.
He probably would have been. Yeah.
Walter who signed him,
Yeah,
wasn't he?
So
this is what I'm saying. Go back to like when you think you're close. So I'd made my debut.
Big Michael Madar was still there.
Yeah. Well, he was. Yeah, I don't. Oh, yeah.
He
was.
I think he might have been there, but
he was there. But
so that season, you speak about the mad season where I'd made my debut. I'd had a taste of it.
Yeah.
I'd had a taste of first team, and he'll tell you that I had that strut where I'm the best striker at this club.
Yeah.
I am.
Yeah.
And I remember Big Dunk watching me playing for the youth team in pre-season, and not long, I said, I got there late.
Yeah.
And I remember him saying to Howard, he should be playing up front with me now. And that gives you confidence, doesn't it? But not that I needed that. It's just like, he was someone I'd watched on the terraces and thought, he's doing what I want to do. So when I heard him say that, I thought, well, I'm doing something right. And then obviously I made my debut, never played again. And then the following season was... Had we won the Youth Cup the season before, or...?
I think it was in that summer, because I remember, I think it was the season before, because we actually did the trophy parade before the Coventry game where we were going to go down.
Were we on the pitch?
We had the pitch, and nobody was interested. And it was a shame, really.
I don't think I was.
No, but it's a shame because
pitch, I was just thinking about
the youth team had done that well, and
we had a great youth team.
Yeah, it was great. But as you say, it was the next season when really sort of Walter
So
Walter
Walter come in
to you, didn't he?
He did. Remember Archie? We used to do, because Belfield was so small and it had everyone there. There wasn't enough pitches, was there, for everyone?
No.
So the youth team used to do the first 2 or 3 weeks on the Bill Shankly outside.
Yeah.
Or in Crocky Park.
Yeah.
So I remember obviously walking through West Derby Village with bags of balls. You know what I mean? To do our first couple of weeks, to give the first team some space to get on with what they needed to do. And obviously they needed one pitch to run, and the pre-season's different. And Archie coming to watch our training session, and I think they'd only just got the job the night before. And it was our first day of pre-season, and I remember him, he'd obviously heard about me because I remember it, listen, you're watching thinking, is this the assistant manager? Like, Archie, being so successful up at Rangers. And I remember him saying to Colin, and I overheard it, well, where's the boy Jeffers? Colin said, that's him over there. So, gives you little things like that. It gives you confidence, doesn't it? That people are actually speaking about you. So I thought, oof, he knows who I am. And then you're playing, you're training. I'm getting the odd training session with the first team. And then right out the blue, Bakayoko from France, was it?
Yeah.
Wasn't Lons, was it?
I can't remember now.
Anyway, we signed him £5 million. Thinking, sucks the life out of you a little bit, because I'm thinking, right, I'm close, or I've got a chance here, this is the season. And then, honestly, I remember training and being a bit down. I was with the first team, then training. And I'm not slandering anyone, but I remember thinking, £5 million. By the way, he won't be in my way for much longer.
It's funny because we were speaking about that with Parky last week, when players come in your position.
Yeah.
There's that rivalry, instant rivalry.
Yeah.
I'm not sure they have it now.
Human nature, isn't it?
Human nature, yeah.
So, I remember looking at Bakayoko and thinking, listen, if someone's going to come in your position, I remember thinking, well, I'm better than him. So although I think I actually went to see Walter about 2 or 3 months in. I hadn't played for him, and I remember him laughing. I remember him getting Archie into the office.
Yeah.
because I'd gone up and said, listen,
thinking cheeky.
I said, listen, boss, obviously I've been training with you a long time now.
I think you had a book on the wall. How quick will Jeffers come in to have a go at us?
Yeah. But you remember what Walter's office, or the manager's office, right round the back, wasn't
it was, yeah.
And then before you got to that door that was facing you, Waggy and
that's right.
Archie would be in
on
there.
The left, yeah.
So I remember going in saying, boss, you know, like, I'm miles better than him, you know. Just pay 5 million quid for him. I'm well better than him. Yeah. And that was it, you know what I mean? And he looked at me and he put this smile on and he shouted, Archie! and then he said to, listen, and he said to me, tell Archie what he's just told me. And I said, I'm well better than him who you've just signed. Miles better than him. Yeah. And Archie's, really? No, like, they winded me up, do you know what I mean? But they couldn't believe that.
Testing you though,
yeah, I said, I'm miles better than him. I said, like, you know, any chance of a game? And it was just like, it's just the way it went.
And then next thing you knew, you're fighting with Liverpool goalkeepers.
Yeah.
I mean, that was a moment where I think, you know, everyone looked and they loved it, you know, because the Everton crowd, especially in a derby game, I mean, you didn't hold back, did you? Not in that particular situation, but you know.
That was obviously the season after, so I'd become
established.
But the season before, so just going back to having that air of confidence, I'd got in the team, and was doing well. So obviously scored on my debut, and I remember Kevin's first game was a derby game, wasn't it? Right, we got beat 3-2.
Yeah.
Do you remember?
Yeah.
And I remember being over the water, and we're in a hotel. You'd have been there,
Thornton Huff, probably.
Right. So anyway, I'm playing. I've got to be playing. You know. And anyway, I remember Walter naming the team. I like 12 over there. It's like, honestly, I thought to myself, what have I done? Branchy came in from nowhere, played up front with Kevin Campbell.
That,
and me and Danny Cadd on the bench. It was just, I don't know whether that woke me up. I don't know whether that was like because I thought I was playing. It would be my first derby at Anfield. I'd always dreamt of scoring there. So I remember thinking, wow, where's that come from? Like, and you're trying to work out all the scenarios in your head. What have you done wrong? And it was probably just tactical. Like I said, it was probably going to be, we're going to have to defend, and we need some real pace up front. Kevin's come in, Branchy's quicker than Fran. Tactical decision, but when you're a young lad, you don't see that, do you? No. It's only now when you're in coaching. You're in coaching now, you understand. Whereas then it was like, Branchy's been miles. How's he come in and play? I'm not disrespecting Branchy. It was a surprise. And then I came off the bench, and I think we took the lead after 7-8 seconds or something, didn't we? To call.
Yeah.
And then
that's right.
I came on and got a goal to make it 3-2. And then we had a few chances after that. Anyway, that was the first time. And then you go back to the year after. I think you left then, so hadn't you? Season after when we...
you'd gone the second season.
Yeah, I think you'd gone. So I remember we were going well, weren't we?
Yeah.
I fancied us going there, actually. I remember going to Anfield thinking we'll do all right here, because we'll, you know, me and Kev had struck up a decent partnership, and obviously you go back to the goalkeeper, don't you? It's just handbags, weren't it? Pathetic, weren't it?
What did he say? How did it start? Was it just
just like you do, you know what I mean? Obviously you're down that end of the... I think we'd clashed in the box, and he said something and I said something, and...
I think in derby games though, especially Everton, games, especially if you're from the city,
it's not a derby game until you're
almost waiting for something to happen. Of course you want something to happen.
Yeah, but there's a funny story about it, you know, because we stayed in here. We never stayed. It was a night game, wasn't it?
Yeah.
So we went to the Crown Plaza.
Oh, right. Okay.
Right in the centre by the bus stops.
Yeah.
So we went there.
Marriott?
No, the Moat be the Moat.
No, it wasn't. You know the bus stops?
Yeah.
In town?
Yeah.
What's the hotel right there?
Yeah, the Marriott.
And me and you used to go for food at the back, the tapas.
Yeah. It's underneath the...
Is it the Marriott or it's the Marriott? It's the Marriott, you're right. So we goes there, we goes to Belfield, and we goes there, we leaves our cars... Do we leave our cars at Belfield or Goodison, and we drives there? And funny, because you're in a room, aren't you? And listen, I barely said 2 words to Joe Maxmore, right? I'd like, all right, Joe Morning, and you know, you just don't have a relationship, and not in a bad way. Just you tend. I was with 10 to it. So anyway, it gets there, and Jimmy Comer's putting all the keys out. So like it's a big day, isn't it? Do you know what I mean? It's like we're playing Liverpool in the night. I'm thinking, you know, I'm not going to be able to kip. So I need to be in a room with someone who I can speak to. Do you know what I mean? Anyway, so I walks up and all the keys, and I'm going, right, so I see Max Moore and Jeffers, room 216. So I turned around to Jimmy, like, Coleman, who the fuck's put me in a room with him? Yeah. And as I said it, Joe was on my right shoulder. He went, good to see what you think of me, man. And I went, Joe, listen, I said, it's not like that. I said, just never ruined it you before, lad. He went, no, it doesn't. Anyway, so I've already killed him off. And now I'm thinking, so I'm in a room with Joe now for the next 6 hours. You know what I mean? So the silence is unbelievable. So I'm on edge then because I've already upset Joe. So anyway,
he's not moving in the bed.
It was just like, and I didn't mean it. Do you know what I mean? What I meant was like, put me in with Jevo or Danny, someone I knew. And so anyway, we get there, and the rest is history.
I don't think Joe was the biggest talker anyway, was he really? He was quite a polite, nice, quiet lad. But I always remember when he first arrived, you know, and we were playing Exeter in the FA Cup, and it was his debut, you know, that was his first game, and I did a quick interview for Club Call at the time, you know, and I said to him, "Are you looking forward to, you know, we want to just get down there, get the game played, win the 3 points and come back," you know, and it was in the FA Cup, and I always remember Walter coming to me and said, "We get 3 points as well." I said, "Yeah, so apparently so, so, you know, but a lovely lad, a lovely...
Great fella, Joe. Great fella, yeah.
Listen, we're going to have to move on here because we've talked so long. I want to move about to you leaving Everton now, because that was a huge story at the time, wasn't it? You know,
was you there now?
I was there, I mean, the fox in the box going off to Arsenal, you know, and I mean, I strangely enough didn't have much to do with it, to be honest, you know, because transfers out were not really my bag as such, you know, it was more transfers. I mean, when was the first time you thought, you know, they're coming for me, sort of thing? When did you know?
I didn't really know who was coming for me. Yeah. But I had been trying to agree a new contract with the club for a while, and you probably know this. You know, I'd been back and forward with the chairman, Bill. Yeah. But I always felt that there was something else going on. Yeah. Which there obviously was.
There was always something else going on.
So
in fairness,
I think the club it was always slow. So I'd be like, you know, I'm going to be going into the last year of my contract. Yeah. So I'll start again. I only ever signed one professional deal at Everton, and that was when I was just turned 17. Yeah. That was agreed long before anything had happened. So you got a YTS, and then you could sign pro on your 17th birthday. So I'd already played for the first team, and I think I was on a standard contract. You know, but going into it might have been 500 quid a week. And I stayed on that deal. I never ever signed another contract at Everton, but I was a regular in the first team. Absolutely. And I wasn't stupid, you know. I was a scouser who'd earned me crust, and it was like, you know, going back to it, I use Bakayoko a lot. You know, you're bringing these players in, you pay 5 million quid for them, right? That's just the fee. That's just the transfer fee. I don't know what his wages have been. You got a Scouse lad here who's better than him and who showed it. Yeah. He hasn't cost you a penny, by the way. I've been at the club since I was 11. You need to look after me. Anyway, it went back and forth with the chairman, and I just think, you know what it was like back then, Ali? It was like there was no social media. So whatever the club said, they always had the first word. Yeah, absolutely. You know,
and usually the last.
And usually, So it was Preno, people like Dave Prentice, who obviously the chairman or Walter would say, look, you know, Fran's turned down a new contract. So basically, splashed all over the Echo, Jeffers turns down contract. Whereas nowadays, the player has a chance to fire before you. Yeah, yeah. Whereas you just have to take the stick then. So you got the fans going.
I could tell you a number of instances like that at the time. You know, Nick Barmby was another classic.
Yeah, and I tried to agree a deal, and you know, they were offering me this. I was saying, but chairman, like, not me, obviously, in person. Yeah, but chairman, like, I'd still put me as by far the lowest player. Yeah. What about him who can't even get on the bench now, who you're paying? Like, anyway, and then you get the fan, you know, as mad as it sounds, they always, it's never the local lads that get looked after, is it? You know, it just comes like as if to say, well, he'll sign anyway.
Yeah.
Anyway, went back and forward, and I always felt there was something going on. And then you start to hear, don't you? Look, they're going to try and cash in on you.
Yeah.
You know, they need the money. So Bawley, I think it was Bawley who first told me. Bawley actually said to me, look.
Well, Bawley and Dunny had the same sort of situation.
Same issue. So, and I remember being in the gym. I never went in the gym that much.
Yeah.
I remember being in the gym, and Goffey said to me, can I have a word with you? I said, yeah, of course, Goffey. Like, and when Goffey wanted a word with you, it was like, what have I done? Do you know what I mean? So he said to me, David Pleat just rang me. So would David Pleat have managed Goffey at Tottenham?
Yes, he would have been around.
He would have been around. So he said, David
job
Pleat just rang me. George Graham. I think David Pleat was the director of football at Tottenham.
Right, okay. Yeah.
He said, I've had him on. George Graham really likes you. He's asked me what type of lad you are. And it stumped me a little bit because I thought, well, my name must be getting banded about now.
Yeah.
You know, the club must be saying, we're looking to cash in on him.
Yeah.
So I knew then, and then Bawley said to me about 2 days later, I think they're trying to get rid of me and you. Yeah. And I was like, you know, and then things happen and you don't quite get to where you want to be. You're miles away in terms of where you're trying to get to with the club. And yeah, I think the chairman, you know, sometimes clubs have to do things they don't want to do to keep things going at the club.
It happened on 3 or 4 occasions.
You know, Al, you know, you'd have been around at them times, so, but you don't have a chance to fire back. Not fire back, but you don't have a chance to say, look.
But put your side.
Put your side. Right. Because by the time you fire back, their stories, the Everton side of it and Bill's side of it had already gone out. Yeah. He's turned down the biggest contract in the club's history. Yeah. But never once was it, look, you know, we're financially in a bit of trouble here. So we you know, we need to cash in. Yeah. You know, and I think, listen, was the same thing was probably still happening when Wayne come through.
But that was the club model.
Yeah.
Whether we like it or not, that was the club model.
Well, there you go. Yeah. You know, so Arsenal, obviously, if I was going to leave Everton, I wasn't going to leave for someone I felt wasn't going to further my career. Yeah. You know, I wanted to leave for the best.
Of course, yeah.
So, Man United and Arsenal, for me, were the 2 best teams. Yeah. You know, United had, obviously, Fergie was in charge and they had great strikers, but so did Arsenal anyway. Yeah, Arsenal came in and it was quickly done. I was quickly on my way down to London. And
we talk about going into dressing rooms. I mean, that was some dressing room to walk into as well, wasn't it? When you see the likes of David Seaman and Bergkamp and Petit.
It was Man U, Arsenal fighting.
That's right.
They were the biggest.
It was 1 year.
So I think.
How daunting was that though for you to go into that?
Well, it wasn't, Al, because I go back to.
You didn't care.
Well, you know, this is where I belong.
Yeah, it's funny because when he came through, you think about his trajectory. It was almost everything just happened. Yeah, you know, his performances. Even if he didn't have a great game, he'd always do something. Yeah, and he was always one of them youngsters who seemed full of confidence all the time, so sure of his own ability. And I think, as you know, he just said his first word there. It didn't overawe him. No. Yeah. Do you know what I mean?
It didn't. And, you know, people have asked me loads, why didn't it happen? If the truth be known, I probably wasn't good enough to get Henry and Bergkamp out of the team. Yeah, and then Wiltord and Carnu. So I was one of 5. So like I speak about teams having strikers now, they need more. We had 5 and I was probably 5th choice. Yeah. And I was a young lad. But I wasn't overawed. It didn't affect me. Price tags, superstars. Yeah. I just couldn't get into the team, and then the longer it goes, you start to lose a little bit of not confidence, but you start to doubt yourself a bit. Yeah. It was the first time I'd ever.
Well, you've gone to being on the bench now, haven't you?
Yeah.
So he's just gone from playing every week.
To him now.
So all of a sudden, psychologically, it's like you go to a Saturday afternoon and the team who are ahead of him are all world-class
I was going
players.
to say, you haven't got a Bakayoko to look to back
No,
you up, have you?
no,
You know what I mean?
I'm not fighting. I'm fighting with the best.
The best
fighting
players.
big.
The best player, not in the Premier
Henry
League, probably in the world.
In the world,
you know. And
don't forget, a young lad, he's just left Liverpool. You know, so looking back now when you're a bit older, at the time, you're sure of yourself, you're so confident, but really, you need more support.
And that's the thing, what Tony's saying there, that this was the first time ever since an 11-year-old that things started to go the wrong way. So from 11, best player in the school team, best player in Liverpool schoolboys, England under 15s, under 16s, back to Everton in the team at 16, make me debut. Yeah. Then Walter comes in the team, playing, scoring goals. Everything's doing that, and all of a sudden you get to Arsenal and it levels off, and all of a sudden you're getting 5 minutes at the end of a game, or you're not getting on the pitch for 3 games, and you look at the amount of people in a football club now, who you can go and see for advice. Then it wasn't almost seen as a weakness, but it was like you just get your head down and you keep going. You can't offload any of your struggles. Whereas now there's people who can help you with everything, isn't he? I just had to deal with it, and it was a sign of like, well, who can I tell you that, like, what do you do? I didn't know, like, as mad as it sounds, what do you do? What do you do when you're out the team? How do you cope with it? So to go and ask someone, like, psychologists and people like that, it was just, you just keep working hard.
And the players that were there are not the people to go and ask, are they, really, in a sense? Because
you can't go and ask Dennis Bergkamp how to get you out the team. Do us a favour, Dennis. What's the trick to get...
One of the mechanisms you would use back in the day when things aren't going well is knock on the door and go on loan. And sometimes that takes you out of the pitch, So you're Arsenal, they carry on without you then. Yeah. Because you're out of the picture.
Yeah.
And to be honest with you, there's a kid coming through the academy who's actually closer to the first team than you are now, because you're out the picture. Yeah. And he's knocking on the door now. Whereas if you stay, well, it's a tough one. It's a tough one.
I wasn't going to go and... I was knocking on his door, but I was still playing in the FA Cup game, so you see it now. There's so many games, so there's the Carabao Cup, it was the Carling Cup, Champions League, FA Cup. So I was getting bits of games, but it mightn't come for 5 weeks. The FA Cup only comes around every 5 weeks, 6 weeks. As you get into it, sometimes longer. Champions League, so important to the football club. So he's not putting his 4th and 5th choice strikers in the Champions League, the manager. He's putting you in the Carabao Cup. Yeah. He's putting you in the FA Cup.
But as a player, you see that as a
negative. But also, you start to, all of a sudden, it becomes, the pressure builds a little bit, because that 60 minutes that you're going to get against Sunderland at home in the Carabao Cup becomes vital to you, because guess what? If you don't rip it up in that game, that might be your only game now for the next 6 weeks. So all of a sudden, your head's all over the show, and you don't do the right things, and you start feeling sorry for yourself. And like I said, I look back now, and obviously I'm coaching now, so you're putting yourself in other people's shoes, and you're always thinking, what's he going to be thinking? I didn't have the coping mechanisms out to deal with adversity, because, like I just said to you,
structure wasn't there.
From 11,
you were the best.
I'd just gone like
all
that.
You'd known as
all I known was, don't worry, it'll come.
Was Wenger as good as people said? As good as
he was.
Well, you told me a good story about Wenger, about the stretcher.
Yeah. So he was. What year was it? 2001.
It would be around.
Yeah. So he was. People go, was the professionalism a level above Everton? It's hard to say professionalism, because that then means that the lads at Everton that had just left aren't professional. Yeah. They just had a different way. Things were turning in football. Yeah. Things were evolving.
Well, he was the first one to bring in a lot of the psychologists and all these people, wasn't he?
So I remember going on pre-season, took a French doctor with us who had us taking all kinds of tablets, supplements, and the only time I ever took tablets was when I had an hangover. you know what I mean? And now all of a sudden I was taking them before training. You know, it was like, and then Arsène had, you know, you'd stay in a hotel for home games. So, you know, you'd probably be in an hotel bed more than your own bed. So it was strange because he'd have you together a lot. And he'd often take you into rooms as a team. So you'd go out for a walk and then he'd take you in to stretch and he'd do the stretching. Now, you know, you imagine now, you can't imagine Moisey, can you, taking all the lads into the room to have it'd be the sports science or the physio and leading them through the stretches. But he hadn't, he that's what he'd done. Do you know what I mean? It was just, and then all of a sudden, but in terms of the actual coaching and the system, and you look at the analytical side of it was no different to Everton. He used to pick his team ass and he'd get you all in, and he'd have 11 cones, drop it, David Seaman, and then he'd drop one just ahead there on the left side, Ashley Cole left back, Lauren right back, and he'd just drop them in a 4-4-2. And then you do a few set plays, and you might go through a little bit of like the team that's not playing against them, 5 or 10 minutes. You know, the day of the game when you're going for your team meeting before you head off to the ground, he'd have a flip chart, he'd write some notes. He always had 3 penalty takers. He wasn't doing anything different in that respect. It was the other stuff around it. That I felt was different, and the hotels, you know. So you play, say you were playing Liverpool at home on a Saturday, hotel Friday, but you might be playing PSV at home on the Tuesday. So from Friday to Tuesday, you'd only be in your house for one day.
So it was a cultural thing.
It was all that was different. Maybe the French lads and the foreign boys were probably used to it a bit more than me, but it was definitely something different, and it was obviously more professional, you know.
In that sense.
In that sense, but that's not disrespecting.
No, I know
what was going on at Everton.
The level must have just jumped up
training
wise.
Listen, it was, but that's just the level of player, isn't it? You know, that's no disrespect to the lads at Everton.
No, I mean,
it was.
That's why they're at the top of the league.
It is. You know.
But it must be. You think about. You made your England debut, didn't you?
Yeah.
Was that at Everton? Or was that at
no, that was at Arsenal.
Yeah.
And you know, that was nothing to do with my form at Arsenal, because I never had any form. No. I never played.
Yeah, so that's from your
that was because I'd obviously, every time I went away with England as 21s, I was banging goals in for fun. Yeah. So it was like we really need to have a look at him, even though he can't break into Arsenal's team. You can't just keep ignoring.
I think from an international point of view,
and then that was the reason. And I think, to be fair, you know, I'm not putting any dampeners on me playing for England, but he named like a bigger squad then, Sven, and it was probably to have a look at players. So he changed the team at half time, didn't he? So it was Australia at Upton Park where he picked a team to start, and everyone knew there was 11 changes at half time. So it was me and Wayne going on at half time. We already knew that, and I managed to nick a goal, and then I got in the next 2 squads, but I never got on.
But him and Wayne making a debut for England, both from the same school, weren't
it's unbelievable, because
it is unbelievable. It is De La Salle school, isn't it?
De La Salle, Crocky. You know, I think you know, there was a bus left from Crocky that was just obviously packed with. You know, family and friends. Well, there wouldn't have been many sarnies on there.
No, but then you went to Charlton, I think, on loan initially. Would that be right?
No. I came back to Everton, didn't I?
All right, Arsenal. Okay.
So I come back to Everton on loan. Moisey's first.
On loan, yes.
Moisey's first. You did. First full season, I think. Right. So he came in halfway through.
2002. Yeah.
Was it? So that was when I was back on loan. So Moisey's first season, he come in.
Yeah.
Halfway through, did he?
Yeah. He came in.
So he'd had probably 6 months.
Maybe not 6, but it was, I think probably, it was around the March time.
Yeah, okay. So then, obviously I couldn't get a game at Arsenal. And obviously, I think David Dean and Bill Kenwright were close, weren't they?
Yes, very.
So that might be where the deal got struck up to go there. And then coming back the other way,
it probably did.
It was probably similar. Yeah. David Dean ringing him saying, "Who's this dud you've sent me? Do you want him back?"
I don't think so.
Oh yeah.
Because the next season was the season of the Invincibles. You know,
so I came back to Everton.
Yeah.
Obviously, Moisey was back. And listen, he was dead fair with me, Moisey, you know.
Yeah. I remember you saying at the time.
He said, you know, I met him and Alan, and there was no guarantees, but I wouldn't expect to come back and just play. I told him, listen, I haven't played for a while, and I will, you know, I will need time, and time and football doesn't really go together, does it? You know, it's results, isn't it? So Wayne would just broke through. So we had Wayne, KC was still around.
Yeah.
Dunk.
Yeah.
Me. I think there was one more.
Max Bride, no.
McBride, no, he wasn't.
There,
he wasn't, no. Thomas Radzinski.
Oh yes, of course.
So
yes.
That's what I'm talking about.
Yeah.
Another 5. You could argue we're all
got something different, haven't you, a little bit?
It's a good balance, isn't it? You know, you look at it now. We keep going, but we can only use Everton, can't we? But even your Arsenal, you know, what are they going to do if Gyökeres gets injured? Are we into Moreno going up front? It doesn't seem right in my head because. No. You know, I wish Arsenal only had one striker when I was there,
I was having a conversation,
and it was me.
I was having a conversation the other day about the ex-Chef U manager lives down in Plymouth, Warnock.
Yeah.
So when I was at Burnley, we took Davy Jono on loan. Remember little Davy Jono?
Yeah.
Good striker, Davy Jono. Yeah.
He played for Forest.
Yeah. Right.
Yeah.
So he come on loan to us, and he just signed. I'm sure he signed for Chef U. And the running joke was your manager has got about 9 strikers.
Yeah.
And he's got loads of strikers. What he used to do, he used to take 2 off and put 2 on. They were always big, strong lads who could bustle you up, and the 2 who aren't doing it,
they were off.
You're off. And he kept getting. He must have had more promotions than anyone.
Yeah.
And it's interesting to think about it. You know, you've got a really experienced football man. But we used to say he just collects strikers. It was like almost a running joke. But he might have.
Yeah.
For that reason alone, that
strikers are only as good. You know,
get promoted with
strikers.
Get you out of trouble.
Yeah.
Say it all the time. You're only as good as your strikers.
Yeah.
So. Yeah.
So you find yourself at Charlton then as well.
Charlton, yeah. So back to Everton.
Under Alan Kirbishley, was it?
Kirbishley, yeah. And started well. Scored 2 on my debut against Villa at home.
Yeah.
So yeah, never went well at Everton. And you're thinking to yourself, aren't you, what happens next? Go back to Arsenal. Back at Arsenal pre-season. The gaffer pulls me arse and said, look, Charlton are in for you. We want you on loan. And I went, nah. I said, no. I said, just had a year on loan. It never worked. And if I'm going, I'm leaving. And, you know, I said, what I did say was, I think if things aren't going well and you're on loan, you're easy to dismiss.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? Whereas if you've got a 3-year deal, Al, it's like
they've got to make you work.
Like, let's have a go with it, you know. So anyway, I said, I'm not going on loan. He said, well, that's what they've come with, Charlton. And anyway, it happened. Kerbs paid the money, whatever Arsenal wanted, and I went to Charlton. And yeah, I started well there. And then I said to you, didn't I? We lost a couple of games. We got beat 4 at Man City. And then we might have lost 3 at home. Conceded 7 in 2 games. And the ball never spent much time up that end of the pitch. And I think he wanted to shore it up. So he wanted to put another midfielder in and take a striker out, which is fine. But obviously it was going to be me. Because you look at it now, that focal point you speak about, you know, these strikers who play, most of them do play up there on their own. They're either big and strong enough to play as a lone striker, or they've got an outstanding attribute like pace off the shoulder,
running corners,
running anything. Whereas, like I said to you before, I wasn't quick. I was sharp. I wasn't strong, but I could hold it up.
Yeah,
you know, I was. So I felt foul of probably coming out the team, another midfielder going in, and it coincided with Charlton staying in games, you know, not conceding as many goals, and then all of a sudden now you find yourself out the team there. And if you think about it, right, 2 years at Arsenal, probably all in, probably 25 games in FA Cup in 2 years. That's appearances, by the way, that could be for 10 minutes. Go back to Everton, probably started 7 or 8 games.
Yeah.
Go to Charlton. I've had 4 years nearly without playing footy now.
Yeah.
So I'm struggling now. I've had 4 years from going from that to that 4 years. So I'd had 4 years of doing that. Now I've 4 years of doing that, and I couldn't. I just struggled, and then obviously 2 years at Charlton, never played much, and then Sparky signed me for Blackburn, and then 4 years Rob kicking a ball, and you know what I mean. But then. So
how did you deal with that low? I mean, because we talked to Joe Parkinson didn't we, about, you know, and it's a different situation because he finished because of injury. But how did you cope with that? Because you
just think the world's out to get you, don't you? You just think that everything's against you.
I think it's.
Would you handle it differently now? You know, when you look back.
Yeah. So you blame, don't you? You blame. He doesn't fancy me. You know, this and that. Whereas now you look at it and you think, right, if you'd had someone who got around you and said, right, listen, this is the way to handle this. You've got to do this. Yeah. You've got to give it more. You can't be doing that. You've got to change your mindset. You know, you're thinking.
And is that because you didn't listen, or is it because there was no one there to do that?
I don't think.
It was. It's so different now, especially for a young Scouse kid who's come through the system. You know, one of a giant of a club, is the best player. Yeah. And then he's getting signed for probably the best club in the country at the time for 10 million, with the best manager, with some of the greatest names, all playing World Cups, and now he's not playing. Yeah. So now everyone's forgot about him. So even, you know, no one's speaking about. He's being used to his name on a Sunday being in the paper. You know, psychologically, it's a tough thing, isn't it? Now I think Franny's coaching now. He's been coaching for a number of years. And I think if you want to look at it in a positive way, a lot of them hurdles that, because we never had the support years ago, a lot of them hurdles that you didn't get over and the knockbacks, I always think things are for a reason.
Use them now.
And it's built them up now to have more answers to support kids now.
Are you enjoying being a coach?
Yeah. But going back to it, I'll just on the agency part of it, I think it's changed now. So you
of course.
You look at it.
It's funny you say that, because when I left Everton in 2002, and I went back in 12 years later, and someone said to me, you know, what was the difference in the club when you went back? And, you know, and what it was for me is I walked into an office. I was director of comms, and I walked into the office, and 4 players, I won't name them, 4 players had to come in and see me, and they all had briefcases. This is in 2013. They all had briefcases, and they had the contracts of, you know, the image rights and, you know, things which, and I'm like, when I left in 2002, Gaza was trying to put a window wiper up somewhere where he shouldn't have, you know what I mean? And that was it. They came in, they had a laughing training, they trained, and they went home. You know, it's a completely different world now, isn't it? You know, but you know, I mean, but just finally, let's finish up, because we've gone way over time, but it's been really fantastic, fascinating conversation. But with regards to, I mean, is striker coach something you want to do? Is that something?
I've done it all.
Yeah, I know you have, but I mean, in the future, is it? Because
you know, it's something. It's something
I really want to manage. I mean,
well, it's hard. It's a tough question, that all, because for people watching, you say, I want to be a striker coach, right? Yeah. But then a job might come up, and someone, he doesn't really want to be a manager. You never know in football, do you? Yeah. I tell you what, I love working with people. I love helping people get better. My first job was at Everton as a striker coach. Yeah. And I loved it, and I felt I had an impact there, Alan. We go back to Everton now, you know, and I don't know many of the, obviously I've been gone a few years now, but when I go back to the players I worked with, right, even then, probably a lot of the fans wouldn't have seen them. We had good young strikers. So Lewis Dobbin was the first I ever worked with. Yeah. I think we sold him to Villa, did we, for 10 million. Yeah. Never really got on at Everton, but is now playing for Preston every week, scored the weekend. Yeah. Tom Cannon. Yeah. Sold him for X amount.
Sims.
Ellis Sims came as a 16-year-old. Yeah. Worked with all these. Anthony Gordon. Dominic Calvert-Lewin.
Yeah, I was going to say Dom, yeah.
You know, and there'd be ones that you probably don't know well. Mo Ali Choi. Yeah. Had £25 million worth of transfers. Yeah. Right? In France, and played for Real Sociedad, and it sold him back to France for 15 million. Little Max Dean, little Scouse lad from Aylwood. Unbelievable. Right? broke my heart when Everton released him, and it was in COVID, because they should never have released him. Was he good enough to play for Everton? Probably not. Was he going to have a career? 100%. You know, you never know till you put them in. And I worked with him, and he was only little, and he struggled with the physicality. But I always said, just wait. You can't wait forever. But we'd had him since he was 10, got to 16 and release him. Anyway, he went on to Leeds after Everton. And there'll be loads of stories like this. But he went on to Leeds. Leeds sent him on loan to MK Dons, where he banged loads of goals in. And then I think Ghent in Belgium bought him for £2 million. He went out there. I watched him play in the Europa League last season for Ghent. So, you know, even though the Evertonians probably didn't see all them, I felt that me working with all of these strikers, we always had, you know, whether they were good enough or not, you never know till you put them in. But we always had them sitting there waiting, or at least ready to go. So you look at it now, if we had a Tom Cannon, Lewis Dobbin, Max Dean coming through, and I don't know, by the way, I've been out of the Everton system, I don't know who's coming through, but to have a Max Dean, Tom Cannon, Lewis Dobbin, whoever it is, sitting on the bench now, you'd be throwing them on there when you're 1-0 down yesterday, and you never know what you're going to get out of them. You just don't know till you put them in. I
don't think there is a young striker on the bench, is there?
No, that's what I'm saying. So you go with Ellis Sims. Now, in fairness, Everton have probably generated the right few quid from them sales, 5 million, 4 million, 6 million, whatever it is. But going back to the striker coach, I loved it. I loved working on a personal level with people and getting to know them, getting to know what makes them tick, and seeing little traits of myself in different ones, and helping them to, you know, work on parts of the game that people probably didn't see as important. So as simple as basically a finishing drill from 6 yards. So you can do that with an under 10. You can do it with a first team player. The only things that change is the pace of the ball will be coming in quicker. You know, the way the ball comes in, your body shape, it's simplifying. All of my drills were dead simple, but real life, what happens in football. And you can do them with under 10s. You can do them with under 18 players. It's just obviously the level and the pace of the pass and all the little bits of movement before. You'd add all them bits of layers on top as you go.
I think the knowledge is key as well. You know, having a coach who's lived it, come through that system, has played in the big league. I think that giving that information to the kids is really important.
It is, you're right, but also there's still that little bit of street player in Franny and Wayne and people like that, where I think you'd find that quite rare really in coaches now. You know, there won't be that many because a lot have come through academies and systems, and I know you've gone through an academy, but you know, that element of that. I think if you've got an ex-player, you know,
who's had a great career as well, has got the passion. So I don't think every ex-player has the passion to be a coach. Some just don't want to be coaches or don't give it everything. But I think if you've got an ex-player who's got the passion to develop and to coach, there's got to be places for them, because they've got so much to offer. And that's not for every player, because some players haven't got the passion, but some have. And I think Fran's got the passion.
Listen, I love it. It's all I've done since I retired. So I've only ever been in football. Obviously having worked with Tony out in Saudi and Robbie, and then you only realise how much, you know, I was fortunate that when I stopped playing, I went into Everton for, I think, about 18 months. I never got paid. Just done it to learn, and you know, and that was when I was thinking about the striker coach, and I approached Robert Elstone, who was still there. And he said, well, no one else is doing it. And I said, so what? Why?
We're a club of firsts.
Why can't we set the trend? And I think people are doing it now. I think, you know, in not so long after, I think England had one who, and basically all you're doing with them is giving them that. It's basically a bit more love. You're obviously giving them all your knowledge and your sessions and all that. But I always say this, and I've been asked this a lot, and you know, it is a unique position, striker, right? All of these academy training sessions are based around defenders and midfielders. You know, Why do goalkeepers, right? So why do goalkeepers go off and do 40 minutes on their own and then come and join the main session? Why? Because it's a specialised position. I believe strikers are. I believe you should be working with them to hone in on their parts of the game that ultimately they're going to need. You know, they're going to get judged on how many goals they score. So why aren't we putting them in that position for 40 minutes before they join the main session? Now, you can't do that every day. But
there's a place for it.
Part of the week,
there's a place for it. And obviously, you know, my passion is, and my position was a striker. So that's where I sort of developed it, because I did think, you know, at Everton, I remember arguing with, like, laughing with Kev O'Brien. You know what I mean? Kev been around Everton for as long as I can remember. When I got back to Everton, he was the goalie coach with the youth team. Probably had every job. And I get it. It's hard to get, you know, you've only got one position, haven't you? Yeah. But I used to say to him, we've wasted so much dough, haven't we, with all you and your goalkeeping coaches, because we've never produced a goalie. And then we bought Simo for 3 million from Tranmere. So it was like, but we've always produced strikers. And we don't spend any...
more money to
it's not money, is it? It's just like it was a joke, but I was serious. Do you know what I mean? I used to wind Kev O'Brien up, and I say it now. You know, we've wasted fortunes. You know, we've got in the academy system now, I would imagine, and first team, we've probably got 8, 9 goalkeeping coaches. How many striker coaches have we got? And there might be midfielders sitting there and going, well, what about the midfield? I'm saying, yeah, no, I get it, but.
No, you're right. It's specialised.
It's got to be, hasn't it? You know, point, you know. That's just my feelings on it. Listen, I think a lot of people now are going down the route of having someone who works with individuals, but I just think the striker is a unique position. It's different, and almost a mentality side of it as well. You know, going back to Kev Campbell, one of the reasons Kev Campbell was the best partnership I ever had, obviously because I played a lot with him, but he used to have ways to pick me up off the floor, so I'd miss a chance and he'd look over at me and wink. And you know, you want the ground to swallow you up, because Goodison, the Gladys are on your back, you can hear them growling at you.
Thinker, Kev, wasn't
You've just missed the sitter in the Gladys and they're growling at you, and your shoulders are sagged, and he'd look over at you and wink and go, and he'd say things like,
unless you've played, how would you know that?
Right? So he had little sayings, Kev. Franny, the well's never dry, lad. And all he kept saying is, keep getting in there. He
saw past his game, didn't he?
So he was a coach, wasn't he?
Yeah, he took care of me. He did. He took care of me. If I got a belt off a centre half, I knew. It mightn't come 5 minutes later, but before the end of that game, he was getting one off Kev. You just knew it, and that was just what he was like. But just them little, just that little saying, the well's never dry, and winking at you when you miss a chance, and you're like, you know, and then like walking up the tunnel with him at half time, and it's 0-0, and you've missed 2 sitters. And he'd be telling you what you're doing well. Hey, they can't live with your son. They can't, and you'd be going, missed 2.
It's real life experience, isn't it? And I mean, you know, listen, time is well past us, and what a way to finish on Kevin Campbell. You know, I think we all have an affection for Kevin. But Franny, it's been an absolute pleasure.
Thanks, Al.
We've covered everything, haven't we? And it's been so easy to talk about it. You know, we let our Everton passions seep out a few times, haven't we? But listen, if you've enjoyed this one, like and subscribe on YouTube, Spotify, and also Apple Podcasts, and we'll see you next time.